So I think there's one feature with all the Nintendo Switches that a lot of people are not taking advantage of, especially in the United States. I know a lot of people in Japan are doing this, but not a lot of people in the US are taking advantage of this. And what that is the Nintendo Online subscription. Now, I hate paying for subscriptions. I hate having them eat up all my money. However, this subscription I think is roughly $20 a year, which is insanely affordable. Almost anybody can afford to do that. And it's even more affordable if you have family members that want to go in on a family plan. I think the family plan is like $80 a year, and you can divide that, I think, amongst like five people, five or six people. But I think it's one of the most fun ways to enjoy the Switch and the Switch 2. I own both, and both have some really cool features that I'm really excited about and that I enjoy using. 35-ish million people are live on Nintendo Online, and they've sold like 160 million Nintendos, Switch and Switch 2. Now, here's some of the things that I really like about it. Number one, I love that I can play Mario Kart with my family members that are all spread around, different parts of the world. I've got a pretty big family, and it's hard for us to all get together. But one of my favorite things is I'll just jump on the group chat and be like, yo, who's down for some MK? Like, let's get down on some Mario Kart. Within 5 minutes, all of us can be on a game, racing and chatting on the Nintendo voice chat feature on the Nintendo app. And it kind of breathes new life into the experience of playing Mario Kart, because you can race with just your friends and family, like in a private room, or you and your friends and family can join like a worldwide or a regional race in Mario Kart, which allows you to get in and race with all sorts of people from around the world, which kind of creates a little bit more, I guess it's a little bit more challenging and kind of adds to the experience. And I think it's a ton of fun to just see if you can build those points and see how far you can get. And I've owned Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for probably 5 years, 4.5 or 5 years. And I kind of stopped playing it after I beat the game. And now it's my favorite game to play again. Being able to race with people from around the world and with friends and family is a completely new experience. And like I said, it just adds a whole different level of challenge. And it's a lot different than racing against comms, like the AI comms. It's you're racing against real people that have real life problem solving skills and strategy, and it just makes it a lot more fun. Now, it is harder. Racing against real people who do this on a daily basis is much harder, especially if you're in a room with a lot of Japanese racers. Those guys over there, they are of a different breed. They are next level gamers and racers over there. So that's kind of fun to see how you can stack up against some of the best people in the world. Now, another feature that I don't think a lot of people think about with the online subscription is it opens you up to a wide range of ports of old games. So on the Nintendo Switch 1, you're going to have access to NES, so like the original Nintendo Entertainment System. You'll have access to a big library of games for that. You'll have access to the Super Famicom or Super Nintendo library, a bunch of old, Super Mario games, a bunch of like Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart, whatever the title is, that was on Super Nintendo in the US. You have access to that, a bunch of other fun games. You'll also have access to Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, which is a ton of fun. I do wish that they would port the Pokemon games over into the Game Boy library. That would be a lot of fun, but we'll see if that ever materializes. But nevertheless, those games are so much fun to go back and play, especially some of the Game Boy Advance games. Those games were always a little bit out of my price range as a kid, and so it's fun to be able to go back and play these games from my childhood on the big TV or on the Switch handheld, either way, and to just kind of go back and get to enjoy a lot of this stuff. Now, something else that's really cool is you also get access to Sega Genesis games. There's a lot of Sega Genesis games that they ported over, and they have a license with Sega to offer some of those games. So you get to play like Shinobi. Vector Man is a good one. That's a fun game. and there's just a bunch of other good titles. Now, I do wish that they would port over some Sega Saturn titles, and then fingers crossed, maybe someday we'll get Sega Dreamcast titles ported over. I don't foresee that happening, but we'll see how it goes. I think it'd be really cool if we could get like Shinmu, all the Crazy Taxi titles. Those would be so cool to have in like a modern format and be able to play it without having to go buy all the expensive hardware. Because getting a Sega Saturn is getting harder and harder. A lot of those consoles need repair now. Same with the Dreamcast. Getting a Dreamcast is a lot of money, and I would love to just see all those games be brought over for us to play. And it's the same with the Genesis. You know, the Genesis is fun, but um, having to purchase an additional piece of hardware and then a bunch of carts, like all your cartridges, and have to store those physically somewhere. Some people enjoy that aspect of retro gaming, but for me, I just like playing the games and I like having them in a digital library where I can just enjoy them from the comfort of my home. Now, if you have a Switch 2, you are in for a treat because on the Switch 2, you actually get access to the GameCube port library. Now, it's still relatively small, but the GameCube library, let me show you what it has as of today. And we're in the fall of 2025 right now. And if you have a Switch 2 and you have the GameCube app, and you can download all this if you have a Nintendo Online subscription, you just go on and you download these different consoles, and then you can go in and see what the libraries have. But on the GameCube port system here, you've got Chibi Robo, you've got Super Mario Strikers, F-Zero GX, and then this is a killer. You got The Wind Waker. That's a classic Zelda title, one of my all-time favorite games. It's challenging, but fun, and one of the first high-def open world Zelda games. I really enjoy that one. I still have it for GameCube, and and even now, I'm enjoying replaying it on the Switch. And then you've also got Soul Calibur 2, which is an absolute killer title. This is a classic. It's a really, really good game. Super happy that they've ported these over. Now, it's only 5 games right now, but this is still a relatively new library. And I do believe that they will continue to expand it the same way that they've expanded all the other ones. And then one other title that I forgot to mention earlier, on the N64 port library, there is and maybe I didn't even mention that, but yeah, you get a huge N64 library, and that also comes with Mario Kart 64. Yeah, I don't even think I mentioned that before, but comes with a bunch of great titles, Banjo-Kazooie, both of the Zelda games like Majora's Mask and the Ocarina of Time, absolute classics, and it comes with GoldenEye. I remember playing the 007 GoldenEye on N64 back in the day when I was a little kid, and now that it's available here, and that library is available on Switch 1 and Switch 2. So if you don't have a Switch 2 yet, you can still play all the N64 titles, but it has GoldenEye and you can play it online with your friends, which is super, super awesome because that's the most fun part about that title is getting to play it with other people, play it with your friends and yell at each other. And the cool part about it is you can be in separate rooms, separate states, different parts of the world, so you don't have to risk getting a controller thrown at your head when you when you're winning. So I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's something that a lot of people are sleeping on. I'll put a link to the price table for the Nintendo Online subscription, and then I'll put a link to like a Switch and some of my favorite Switch accessories, maybe even a Switch 2. I'm really liking the Switch 2. It's a nice piece of hardware. But just wanted to remind you guys that's an option. It's very affordable, and it has absolutely changed the way that I enjoy my Nintendos. It's been a huge amount of fun for me. So just want to share that with you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the Mario Kart waiting room here soon.